First of all, we would like to pay our homage to the Triple Gem, the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, and also pay our highly respect to all the most Sanghas and also all the people who are watching on this video, and especially the two speakers here. And also, would like to say very good evening to all Dhamma friends who are watching on this live show today. As we know that our Pek Khmer Sangha student, which led by those rebels who are studying in Singapore, they create this page in order to share us the knowledge about Buddhism and also about the education in the society as well. And today is on Sunday, 23 in July 2023. As we know that all we always live on Sunday night from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock in Cambodia time, and in Singapore time is from 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock in Singapore. So today we have a great honor to be here, and we have two speakers here. And today we are going to discuss about the 5 duties that teacher should serve the students. So what are the 5, and why this topic is important, and we raise this topic for today? Actually, teachers, we can consider them as the second parents, because when the students left their parents from their young age and then they study at school, so only teachers that they try to take care of the student, even not their blood children, but they take care and they teach them, they treat them very well. So this is why we consider that our parents, our teacher as the second parent of the children. So actually we all know that all teachers, their duty, but today we want to make clear how how teacher serve the students. So in here, according to Buddhism, the Buddha raised 5 points or 5 ways that teacher they serve student in 5 ways. So what are the 5 ways? So all the 5 ways will discussing at next few minutes. So before I'm going through to detail and asking the question to the speakers, so I would like to introduce the speaker here first. So the first speaker is Venerable In Mainly. He is studying at Thailand now. He already graduated from 2 universities already. The first university is Pathom Patani Technologies College, and he graduated the subjects of business digital. And the second one is he also graduated from Mahachulalongkorn University and about the philosophy in Thailand. And also now he also continue to study master degree, we call MA, about the TESOL as well. And the second one is Venerable Kung Sinun. He also graduated from the Putika Mahavidyalaya Pras Sehanu. He in English major, and nowadays he is also a teacher in Suramrit High School as well. And this is the 2 speaker here. And before going through to asking the question, I just would like to welcome the 2 speaker here. I'm happy to see both very well to be here and to share the knowledge to everyone around the world who can listen in English. Actually, we live in both Khmer and English, but this week we uh, discuss in English. So now I would like to ask Variable about your day and how it's going, about your study, and about your yeah how busy you are in these recent days, maybe around this week, and also in Cambodia also very busy as well these 2 days. And so I would like to ask Variable mainly first, could you introduce your feeling a little bit? Yeah, thank you.
So first, of all, I would like to pay respect to the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, and pay respects to Venerable uh, uh, Master all around Cambodia and the world, and pay respect to Venerable Sompo, Venerable Sinan, yes, as a moderator and guest speaker. So today I'm feeling good, but a little bit tired because in this day I have many work to do, and the weather in Thailand now is so running almost the full week. They always running, yeah. And but everything is good for me. I'm good. Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you again. Yeah, for sharing your feeling and the weather in Thailand. Actually, in Singapore also the weather sometimes is very hot and sometimes very cold. It's always raining. Yeah, it's the weather changes this recent years uh, because some of the problem that caused by humans. So thank you again. And I'm also appreciate for you that you spend your time, even you are so busy with your course, your study, but you still spend your great time to be here to share to all the listener to listen and to gain benefit from you. Thank you so much, Barabos. And also, the next speakers is what about Kong Sin Jin? Maybe can do I pronounce your names correctly?
Yes, correct. Right. Sinin,
Okay,
yeah.
thank you so much. Can you introduce your background a little bit because you are quite new for us and uh, also express your feeling and also the weather in Cambodia and how busy in Cambodia right now. Because I'm also in Singapore, so I don't know clearly about Cambodia for at the moment. So can you share a little bit? Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah. First, I would like to pay my homage to the Triple Gym, Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, and I would like to say respect to venerable moderator and venerable speaker, and good morning. Sorry, good evening. Right? Good evening for to all venerables who are watching on the Facebook Live, and good evening to the lay people who are also watching on the Facebook page. Yes, for me, I feel a little bit worried because it is the first time for me to join the. This is such an event like talking on the social media or broadcast. It is my first time, and nowadays I am not very busy because I have just graduated from Basanuraj Buddhist University. So I have lots of free time. Um, if we talk about the weather, it has just have the heavy raining, yeah. And for the Khmer society, like they are busy with uh, the election day, yeah, they quite busy. And yeah, in school also have the a long break or long holidays, uh, especially before the uh, yeah. And yeah, I don't have anything to talk. Okay, I think yeah, that's all. Yeah, that's all for me.
Okay, thank you so much. What about Kung Sinins? He shares about his feeling and also about the weather in Cambodia and how busy in Cambodia right now. And yeah, even the first time, but you you are so confident enough to share today. And thank you so much for being here today. And it's okay because today also the first time for me to be the moderator as in English discussion because the last few weeks I lead the Khmer discussion, but today Variable Ping Pong is the moderator for today, but due to his busy for his uh, his work, and then he asked me to replace him. So okay, I'm here. So also the first time for me as well. So it's okay to be the first time, but uh, we try to gain this experience in order to be a better for the next step, and don't waste our time anymore. I just want to raise for the first question first about so this question about the the teacher that serve the student in 5 ways. So the first one is the teacher have to lead the student or have to educate the student in the right way. So what does it mean in this point for this question? So for this question, I would like to ask about Kong Sinin first for the this question. Could you elaborate and give some example which you understand and share to everyone who are watching on this live show. Okay, so now the stage is for you, Rebel.
Yeah, once again, thank you, Venerables, for giving me the floor. Um, the first duties of a teacher, like they train them in the best discipline, I think. Normally, uh, the teachers not just have 5 duties, but they have a lot related to serve their students. So just train them in the best disciplines. I got 3 points. The first, like lead student to focusing on their study. Like the teacher, like draw the students' attention. Like draw their attention to learn. All the subjects. Like teaching them in like in the to do like good way or to be a good student. Have many advices. And the next is about the monitoring. Not they just set the discipline or draw the attention, but they have to monitoring the students. Like they, for example, like teacher doesn't have just talk or just advice, but teachers monitor student. So like take the hands of the student to study hard, to learn. Yeah. And the last is about environmental control. So this is very important. So the teacher uh, have to make something attractive for the student, especially about the environment. As my experience, the students sometimes they don't enjoy in learning, uh, maybe because of the environmental. For example, like I am as a teacher, I am not good at environmental control. Maybe my student is like they feel bored, they don't want to study, they want to have fun, they want to talk. So as a teacher, like draw or make the environment funny or enjoyable with the students. So the first duties is like when we hear first, like, yeah, set them the base discipline. It's like if we hear that, if we at first hear, we think it is very easy, but we take it into practice is not easy. We have to learn. Teachers has to work a lot of tests, and that test needs teacher have to be like, I mean, like they have to work very hard, especially about their mindset. They have to control their mindset first, because young children or students, they are not easy to control, they are not easy to teach, they are not easy to set the discipline for them. We set it and we control it, we monitor it. That is the like we could get the best result from the uh yeah, from the first one. And if we talk like as a teacher, um I have experience with that. It is not easy with the, I mean, like lead them to be the best discipline. And yeah, I think, yeah, I finished that part. So thank you.
Okay, thank you again, Honorable Kong Si Min, that's share with us about the first point, which is about how teacher serve the student in the ways that to educate or to lead or to train the student. So this is the first point, and you also mentioned that actually the teacher he has many responsible many duty, not only five, but there are many more. But this is just the five point that raised by the Buddha, and we combine all the other small point into this five. And you also share about how teacher trains the student or to educate the student. So you raise in the five, the 3 points that the first, the teacher, they have to lead the student in order to focus on their subject. Actually, as especially for the like the secondary school or high school or primary school, they are quite young, and so they don't know what is the purpose of studying. So they just want to play. So they want to be happy because study is not easy or not happy like playing toys or talking or playing game. But even in the family, our parents they try to force the student, their children to study, but it's not easy. But when the teacher uh, stay in the class and there are many students around them, and the student have different characters, different behavior, different like or dislike. So it is not easy to control them, especially uh, teacher. They don't know much about their behavior or their character. So that's why as whatever Kong Si Nin, he got some experience as a teacher. It's not easy job. And yes, the first one, like to lead the student to focus on their subjects and also to moderate them in study on behavior as well. And the last one is also the environmental controls. As we have mentioned earlier, that students they want to play, they want to be happy. So as a teacher, if we don't control them, the environment in the class, how can the class going well? So of course they have to control the environment in the class. And sometimes there are many problems in the social media that some teacher they hit the students in another way, so their parents complain them. It's even their parents they cannot control their child, even one or two child. But how teacher in the class control for many students? Maybe in the class have more than 40 students in the class. If we think about secondary school, primary school, so it's not easy. And so sometimes if we cannot control, teacher have to control themselves as well. It's very important. If teacher cannot control themselves, that's why lead to have like some violence in the class as well. Okay, thank you so much, Rebel, for sharing this point for us. And for let's move to the next question. How teacher teach the students? Actually, teachers teach students is not only about the way like the academic way, but also teach them in the uh, like how to live in their life as well, how to be a good person as well. So I want you to explain clearly about the second one, how teacher teach the student. Yeah, so the second one, yes, can you elaborate more on the second point? Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much, venerable moderator. Once again, yes, the second point is like they grasp their lesson well. It means it related to the teachers themselves, how they have their professional of teaching or not. In this part, like teacher have to train in teaching methodology, yeah, at first. And to this part, I have 3 points. The first, effect, effective goal setting. So the 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 role of teacher, they have to know about the goal setting. I mean, like for example, like the lesson plan, or they have their clear target of teaching. Um, as I have experience when I was in high school. Um, one of my teacher, I mean, like they just teach outside of the curriculum or outside of the subject. It means that they don't set about the clear goal. So student they hopefully, or they respect that the teacher will teach them with the like with a clear subject. So for example, they teach math, but they talk about the philosophy a lot. That is not like they don't set the effective goal setting. And it is the like the most important thing for to be as a teacher, this part, because a setting goal or goal setting, it's like a map. I mean, like a map to walk student in the right way. And the second is about clear communication. So teacher not just set the clear goal setting, but they have to clear communication. I mean, like they have to to have the clear communication with student, between student and teachers. But just some, they just set the lesson. I mean, like they take part. I mean, like the lesson not combined with this. I mean, like not associated with student. I mean, like just take part or separate. So clear communication, it's like connecting each other between students in and lesson with and teacher and student and lesson. I mean, like the circle, right? And the last is about the self reflection. So teaching is not just teach them to know, but just teach them to know like how to do the reflection on something. We in this teacher not just teach them the theory. For example, like in Buddhism, they teach like Dharma. So student know about only Dharma. What does it mean, Dharma? So they don't tell the clearly about they don't tell the student to do the reflection on Dharma. So self reflection, it is really important for students. If we don't tell clearly related to the theory or the lessons, I mean, like the student maybe some of them get misunderstand with the theory, especially about the Buddhist philosophy nowadays. Um, because of the the tailor or the teacher, I mean, like don't tell them about yeah, especially reflection. Don't maybe they don't tell them the the reason, because reason it is very important as the reflection also. So maybe I think not jump out of the point, but in this part, I mean, related to the teachers themselves, related to their professional. So their duties have to be clear professional, or clear teaching, or clear methodology of teaching. I mean, like they not just, for example, if I am a teacher and I know English, I know only English, but I don't know about the teaching methodology. So could I be a good teacher or a teacher? It's not really, right? So I mean, like, yeah, grasp the lesson well. I hope you understand. And my part comes to the end. And thank you for paying attention. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you again, Honorable Speaker, for sharing us about the second point, how teacher teach the student, or how teacher like lead the student, or to make sure that the student understands the lesson well. And also, as you know, as you have mentioned earlier, that as to be a teacher, it's not just come and teach. They also have to be trained by the professional school. Actually, in Cambodia we call Kurukusal. So from the school of Kurukusal. So if we cannot finish from the Kurukusal, or the teaching of the method of the teaching, or the professional teachings, how can they come? So when they come, they have their clear understanding how they should teach the student. Otherwise, they don't know how to, as you have mentioned, they don't know how to set up, how to make the lesson plan, or uh, as if I'm not wrong, you have mentioned three important points on this training. So the first one is about the effective goal setting, which is related to, like, can be a mind map, or can be a lesson plan, in order to connect like to make sure that what you are going to teach, because some teacher they don't have their lesson plan, and then when they come to school they just teach whatever they think, but actually sometimes it is out of the topic, which is not related to their lesson. So sometimes the student they get boring, like they don't want to focus on the lesson. So the first one is about the effective goal setting, and the second one is about the clear communication. Here's whatever Kong Si Nin have explained that clear communication refer to the connections between the student and teacher, and also the student with the lessons as well. Because if the connection between the student and teacher is not like very close, and the student also out of the understanding, maybe they thinking something else, and the lesson just go another way, and student go another way, and teacher goes another way, it's not make sense for them, and it's not the way that the teacher, as a professional teacher, should be teach should be like lead the student in that way. Because it is even uh, we try hard on this, but it is not effective ways, because we are not connected to each other. So it is very good point. And the last one is also about the self-reflection. Self-reflection is very important for students as well, also for myself. you know, after the school, from Monday to Friday, we have class, and Saturday and Sunday we have the like the day off. Yeah, can be say like day off or free time for us. So on this day, we have to reflect what we are learning from Monday to Friday. So self-reflection is very, very important for the student to reflect what they are learning. And also, uh, normally as the teacher, when they do the reflect about the student, normally they give some homework or some assignment for them to do, and then after that they come back and the teacher can check, and then the teacher can know whether the student gets the right knowledge or the right understanding or not, and then teacher can explain them more on that. So this is called self reflection. That's very important for students and also for teachers themselves as well. Okay, this is for your point, and yes, it's very helpful for us to learn from you for today's. And let's move to the next question for the third point, which is about the introduce them to their friend and their college. So do I get the rise? Yes. So the third one is about introduce themselves to their friend and their college. This is the third part, the third point about uh, this five ways of the of the teacher. So this question I would like to ask what about mainly. Could you explain more on the third points? So yes. So the floor is yours. Thank you.
It is the third. It is the third point.
So the third point is about.
Is about they instruct them in the arts and science, right? Or
Oh, I got the question wrongly, right? So okay, so you got the question already. So explain about the third point. Yeah.
okay,
Explain.
the
Yeah.
third one is they instruct them in the arts and science. So the art and science here it means that for art it's about the how we live, how we live, that the art of living, the art of speak, the art of acts, the art of thinking. This is the way that one have one own accumulated. So the teacher they have to train them in such a way for the student they can earn their living well in the societies. For the science, it's about the science is about what that the human uh, uh, produce. Like nowadays we can see many platform on social media. Even we are living far away but we can see each other, we can hear each other, something like that. So the teachers should teach them in such a way, like technology, something like that. So now student nowadays they learn almost everything in the world, like especially for AI, especially for their own hobby. Like some student they not just learning in school. Some student they maybe not learn in school, but they learn from their own intention. It's mean their own love. Whatever they love they will learn about that, because it is not about what the others they may look at. The student they may look at the one that one love. Sometimes we doing something because we want to fulfill other intention. We want other to see that us that, oh, you are a good student, you are should learn subject because it suitable for you. But some people they never listen to the others, they listen to themselves, because they never live with the others, they live with themselves, they live with their own life. So whatever, like is whatever I love I will learn from it. So whatever I love and I learn from it, so those things, so so Oh, there is a problem. Sorry. So sorry. So continue for my answer. So like when we learn something, like we learn something and we learn because of we love of that thing. And when we learn and we learn, so those things that we learn will benefit us. Even the result not too much, but it will fulfill our uh, uh, desire. It's mean that it can fulfill our hungriness, you know. So being a teacher, it's very important. But without a student, the teachers mean nothing. A teacher, one more meaning for me, that teachers mean for those who experience something new or something before another people. Like every teacher, they have their own experience. So everybody can be a teacher because they have their own experience. So other people come to learn from him, not what he not know, but they come to learn because whatever he know. So we want to learn from him. It's mean that we want to learn from his experience, that we see it as success. So every lesson, every experience of the other people, we can learn from it. We can learn from it by because whatever we need from other people is a benefit for us. We can take it as the tool for our own journeys in the future. Maybe we need some skill that provide of living in the society well. Like some people, they have their a lot of knowledge, but they don't know how to talk in the publics. So they go to school and learn some skill, that like a speaking skill, something like that. So look back to our question, as they instruct them in the art or in the science. It means that this is the duty of the student. So we should teach them whatever that we know to the student, because we want them having a good future. It, but whatever that we learn, that we teach to them, is the first thing that we provide them is to remember how to use, how to do, sometimes we get how to speak, how to act, or how to think. So if we don't teach them in such a way, maybe they just act according to their own, their own feeling, their own intention, or their own character, something like that. Because some kind of feeling, some kinds of character, some kinds of one own like is not suitable to the societies, to the, you know as we see nowadays. We need, we know that everybody, we accept that you are the way you are, you love the way you are, you love the way you talk, you love the way you act. But some kinds of event we have to, you know uh, restrain our speak, restrain our act, restrain our thinking. Because sometimes it's not mean that we are talk a lot, it benefit to the others. Sometimes we are silent, it's more benefit from than talking a lot to the others. So so the the point number three, or the point number three is that the every teacher, as I mentioned, that uh, they should follow through the according to the Buddha's teaching. For we are just in like we can say that we explain through what we understand, but it's not what the Buddha understand. You know, we explain through what we understand, through what our own experience, but it's not what the Buddha understand. But the point that the Buddha bring to us, it perfect already. Like a teach them in the art. We have to understand what the art it is. Teach them in the science, so we have to understand what the science it is. So when we understand this thing, we have no more explanation, but we have only schedule or the curriculum as available, as in he mentioned already. So we follow the schedule, we follow the curriculum, something like that. So when we finish the curriculum or schedule, it means that we are successfully teaching for the student, and we provide a good education for them. So thank you so much for. I think it's finished for me.
Okay, thank you again, Brother mainly for sharing us about the third point, which is about how teacher trains student in like in the science way or in the art way. It's actually, in this day, there are not many schools teach them how to be a good person or like to educate students how to live in a happy life, but just teach them in the academic ways or the in the science ways or like teach them about how to use computers, how to do with the technologies as well mainly have mentioned. So this just to find a job in order to earn the living, to like to helpful for them to live in their daily life. But actually, not many schools teach about how to live in a happy life. Normally, on the have only the religions school that teach about this. And as you have mentioned, that teacher they try to teach them in the way that they can understand, and also in the right way as well as the teacher. Uh, they have their knowledge and also their experience that they walk before the student, so the student just follow the step of the teacher. So normally teachers they teach them through their knowledge, their understanding, and through their experiences, and then the student they try to follow and to catch up what the teacher share. But actually, to be a teacher, normally they say just I remember one sentence that when we listen, we can learn something new. But when we speak, we only repeat what we already know. So as teacher, they just say whatever they already experienced, they already learn, they already know. But for students, they can when they listen, when they pay attention in the class, they learn something new from the teacher, like experience, also the idea, also some knowledge related to their life and also their experience as well. So this is how teachers train the students in this kind of way. So this is at the end of the third point, and let's move to the fourth point, which before I got the wrong question. Sorry about that. So the next question is about how teacher introduce their students or their college in like to introduce their student to another how how this part going on. So I just want to know from Rebel mainly again for the first point here. So can you explain about this in detail? Yeah. So yes, the stage is so.
Thank you so much for another question. So for the first point, it's introduce their student to the college or friend or associate. It means that they introduce that how the student go at, how the student pay attention to the study, or how the student improve their skill through learning with like if I am a teacher, I should introduce my student to everybody, because this introducing a student to everybody, it's encourage student to learn, and they can fulfill their stream by try hard in studying, something like that. So if we don't introduce student to the society, will make a student become, you know, like uh, they don't have any encouragement. So when they don't have any encouragement, they may not pay they not pay attention to the study. So it will affects to their study. They maybe become a weak student because they don't have any motivation from the teacher or from the family or anybody that they think that it's important for the student. Like I am a student. I also want my teacher introduce me to the other people. When I'm on the stage, when everywhere that I'm go and meet my teacher or in a group of the people, I want my teacher introduce me to their friend, to anybody that the teacher should be introduce me to them, because this thing that and they can control me sometimes. Some kinds of feeling or motivation can control us in a way that we are walking right now, because sometimes our dream or our goal that we are walking through to our goal, sometimes on the way that we are walking we have some difficulty according to our environment or the changing situation in the society. So maybe it can be changed. But if this teacher, he always encourage and encourage student in many way that the teachers should be do for the student, all those kinds of action will provide student more, like more powers, more effective on studying. So in this rule that as the teacher have, all the five rule that the teacher has is to provide, to support to the student, because teachers, even the teacher, he is like the point is, he's just a guide. He's just a guide, and he is not the one who walks instead of us, but we have to walk by ourselves. But student very important, us teachers very important. If they don't fulfill their duty well, their student will be, not in uh, uh, a good way that as a teachers attempt to do so. Sometimes we want our student good, but we don't know what we are should, what a like a duty that we have to fulfill or to dedicate for our student. Sometimes we may have a good lesson for the student, but we don't know the character of, like a character of the student, what they love, what they likes, and how some student, if we talk good to them, they may study hard. Some student, they need to get hit by student or get hit by the teacher. Sometimes they need to have some punishment from the teacher so they can uh, catch the lesson well. So many kind of student, but teacher only have five duty. If they fulfill their duty well according to the Buddha teaching, exactly, their student maybe 80% or 90% they can, follow the uh, instructions of the teacher, and they will have their own good future. So one point is as the introduce student to the other people is very important. It means that to encourage them to study more and more, and lift them up, like lift them up. When like we are have a we have a teacher, and we go to the society, join the ceremony or any kinds of ceremonies, and we see our teacher and he introduces us to the other people, and we feel great. We feel, wonderful. We feel good in immediately when the teacher said that, oh, this is my student. He is a good student. He's try hard in the study, and he got, a good score in my subject, something like that. He is a smart student. So such kind of word, anybody can say it to us. But if he is not our teacher, it's like no any effective on us. Like I know you, I just know you, and you say to me the same way as my teacher said to me. I have no any kinds of feelings on you. But if my teachers said this kinds of word to me, I feel uplift myself. I feel confident. I feel great. This because of the student and the teacher, or the teachers to the student, is like a father and son, mother and son, something like that. But sometimes if we encourage them too much, also not good. We have encouraged them in a time that's suitable, not just every, oh, you are good every day, you are good every day. Student become, we can say that sometimes they, in Cambodian language, say that "Brian you đang chất." Yeah. Then you đang chất tới, they become another students are like, it's not from good student to a bad student, because we encourage them more than they need, so it over, like how can I say that, we provide them more than they need, so the thing become unusual, something like that. So thank you so much for this talking.
Okay, thank you for your explanation on the fourth point or the fourth way that the about the duty of the teachers. Very clear, very clean about this point, which mentioned about how teacher introduce their students into the society or to their college or to their friends. Uh, Actually, we normally we are forget about this point. You know, sometimes we are student and teacher only in the class, but normally uh, after class or after school, we are different. Like sometimes we act like we don't know each other. Sometimes it's very rude to each other. But on this point, it's very good. Rebel mainly have mentioned that as the teacher, as the duty of the teacher have to introduce their student in like in front of the others in order to encourage them, in order to admire them, in order to motivate them to be a better student. Sometimes, as we are normal people or we are pathogenic people, normally we uh, when someone talk about like criticize us, we feel bad, we feel sad, we feel angry. But of course, when someone admire us in front of the other, uh, admire us in the public place or in the society, of course we are happy, we feel great. So that's why this point also very important for teachers to do so in order to encourage them or to raise their student up, not just teacher student in school but also outside as well. And when student got this feeling, they also, if teacher teach them in the right way or teacher are good at something, student also introduce them in front of their parents, also in front of their friends, in front of the other as well about that. Oh, my teacher is so good. So we respond to each other, we admire each other. But as Verbal mainly have mentioned, that's not admire or not like say something good all the time and everywhere to everyone. Not just like that. It can become useless. But when we have to use it in the right way, also in the right person as well. So that's why it's very effective when we do so. And also all the teachers who are listening on this live show, you may consider on this point as well. I think it's very uh, important as well. And also, let's move to the last point, which is teacher provide protection for the students. So, how can teacher in what way that the teacher protects the students? So, can you explain about the last part? But about mainly is the last question for you.
Yeah, this is for my idea. I think that if we teach of if we protect our student in every quarter, it's mean that we teach them uh, how to protect themselves at first. Secondly, we teach how the society need, and the third one, we have to train them. We have to train them by provide them a special lesson. Like in Cambodian language, we say that on score người đã crop ấy. I don't know in English that, but this is some kinds of special lesson that we can teach to our student to protect them in every quarter. It's not mean that you are follow ours. It means that you are not follow your student every time or every direction, but we teach them to understand that every direction have such dangerous something like that. Like if you are go to the society have some benefit or benefit, so you should protect yourself, because in society we have a good friend, we have a bad friend, we have good company, we have bad company, we have good people have good attentions on you, we have bad people have bad attentions on you. So you should protect yourself by observing them and be a humble person in every situation. It's mean that don't try to lift up yourself in front of any kinds anybody, or you should uplift yourself in front of nobody. So sometimes even in front of a children, sometimes what children know, but sometimes we don't know, you know. It's not mean that we have old age more than children, but we mean that we know everything. No, it's not like that. Even a children can be our teacher sometimes. Sometimes we don't know, especially now children nowadays. Sometimes we know how to live in the society, but some technology we don't know. Some technology we don't know, we have to learn from them. So be humble. It means that if you teach to your student being a humble person, respectful person, it means that you will protect your student. Because in the society it's so hard to live, you know. I can say that it's so hard to live. You are good, but if you are good all the time, sometimes it's not so good for you. You have to know the situation. You have to you have to know how to change your 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 characters in some situation. Because according to my own experience, sometimes you are being like a good person all the time is not so good for you. You cannot live with them. Sometimes if you are being a bad person all the time, you cannot live with them. Being a water, my friend, so you can go everywhere. You can penetrate the stone. Being a water, so being a teacher and protects the student in every quarters. And for me, I think it's hard, but if we train them well, they can protect themselves. So nowadays, not even they live in in such way, or even you are think you are good or bad, but only four things that you need in life, not more than that. The first thing is food. The second thing is clothes. Uh, the third thing is about shelter. The fourth is about medicine. You learn, you practice, you follow, you try to remember almost every lesson or skill in order to find only four things in life to support yourself live happily. But some people, when they have skill, when they have knowledge, say they use their knowledge to look down at the people because they forgot what the necessaries, what the very necessary for life. Sometimes when they forgot about the first thing, they see something else. They have to be good more than others. They have to be better. But when they think back to the four thing, or the four necessary thing, or the four requisite, they will, because of the every some kinds of egos, they will reduce because of they think about the four requisite. Whatever you learn, whatever you try to provide for yourself, it's not more than that. When you know that every person, every being, they need only the four thing. So when you learn this lesson, you will protect yourself. It means that if you learn this lesson from the Buddha, it means that the Buddha protect you in every quarters. Thank you so much.
Thank you again. Wow, very great explanation on the last point. Very sweet, very clear, and very clean. Very good sound for the last point. And thank you for about mainly mention or explain about the five, the fifth one, which about the teacher provide the protection. Protection here, but about mainly explain that not just protect directly, but protect indirectly, but like to provide them in the protect way or to give them the method or the method how to tackle with the problem that they are facing in the society or in their daily life, or to deal with them or to give them the method of solution. So when they got this, they can like to solve their problem by their own, but they just give the technique, the method, or the way to solve all of those problems as available. Mainly mentioned that actually teacher cannot follow the student in every step in every corner of the world, but this protection can have them in every corner of the world, in every single of the societies. So this method is very important. For this teaching is in one quote that like teacher teach them how to catch the fish, but not give them the fish. Teach them how to do fishing, but not just give them the fish. So this is can help them last long, but just give them the fish is just very short time, very helpful in a short time, but not for last long. But teach them how to catch the fish so that can survive them for the whole or the rest of their life. So this explanation is very clear and very sweet. Thank you very much, in mainly. And again, our time has been like going end right now because 1 hour has gone very fast. And before going end of this, I would like to say thank you our two guest speaker here, Honorable Kong Sin Min and Honorable mainly for sharing very great idea on the topic of the five duty of the teacher to serve the student. And yes, thank you so much. Hope to see you again. And also thank you all Honorables and uh, everyone who are watching on this live show, and also after that you are watching on this video. Thank you so much for your watching. And last but not least, I would like to wish all of you have a good health, good luck, and all the best. And also may all being free from suffering. And uh, our live show of my Sankat student page we will live on the next Sunday in every Sunday's night. Oh yeah, every Sunday's night. So we will have the my discussion on next week. And thank you for your watching and thank you the two variables. Thank you so much. Goodbye.